Thank you very much again, dear students, for coming for this video lecture session. Earlier I said that I've tried to show you what is the difference between good leaders and good management. Good managers are just simply capable in order to keep the status of to status quo of the organization, whereas leaders are always characterized by shaking things up. They shake the things up. So leader is clear about the professionally there are, and personally they are capable enough in order to bring or in order to know what is going on, how it is going on, why it is going on. And we have tried to see what are some of the strategic or what are the ingredients of the leadership. This ingredient of the leadership is their capacity to develop a kind of vision. The other point is this vision is directive. It shows clear direction for the followers and for the leader himself. The other issue is about the passion. This passion is really one of the most important things which enable a leader in order to lead his followers towards the goal he or she planned to bring a kind of change in a given organization. Honesty is one of the most important things. Trustworthiness of the leader is very important thing, and reliability is very important thing. Means consistency in making decision, in his word, in his action, in his behavior. We need a kind of integrity. These are very important things. Then when we just classify managers and leaders, managers are more, leaders are direction-oriented people, whereas managers are responsible for planning, budgeting, organizing, directing, decision-making, controlling, monitoring. These are more of a kind of managerial activities. I'm not saying that leaders are not expected to do these managerial activities, but it is the kind of proportion that leaders and the managers spend their time in order to, when they do or when they lead and manage their organization. So leaders are direction oriented. They develop direction for the organization, whereas managers plan and budget the organization. Leaders align people with the notion and vision and mission and value of the organization, whereas managers organize and staff their people. Organizing means dividing work of the organization in different manageable sizes, whereas staffing is assigning the right person for the right position. The other issue is about motivating people. Leaders motivate people, whereas managers control and solve organizational problem. Best performances are rewarded by leaders, whereas controlling is and simply making decision is the characteristics of what we call it managers. So again, to compare the difference between manager and a leader, on page 66 there is a box, so you have to read that part. This module is prepared by Guerrilla International Seminary. The other point is organizational effectiveness. What does it mean by effectiveness? Efficiency and organizational effectiveness. Effectiveness is an achievement of group purposes, an achievement of organizational purposes, an achievement of individual purposes. Whereas efficiency is also achievement of organizational, group, and individual purposes. But what makes difference efficiency from effectiveness is efficiency is achievement of group purposes with minimum or optimum means resources. Sometimes if organizational objectives are achieved by minimizing the quality and of product and service of that organization, that is not efficiency. Therefore, efficiency is an achievement of all group purposes with optimal means without affecting the quality of the product and services of that organization. So organizational effectiveness refers to how well the purposes of organizations are achieved. How well, to what extent, to what degree that purposes of the organizations are achieved. Dear students, again, I advise you to read some parts from this module. Page 78 to 84 is about approach to organizational effectiveness. How can we increase organizational effectiveness? What are the mechanisms of organizational effectiveness? Second point is perspectives of organizational effectiveness. How people perceive organizational effectiveness. Organizational effectiveness from whose dimension? From workers' dimension, from owners' dimension, from government dimension, from stakeholders' dimension. So perspective of organizational effectiveness are different. So we need to read this part in order to get the central theme of what organizational effective is. Another issue is about factors in achieving organizational effectiveness. Organizational effectiveness can be affected by different factors. Maybe internal, maybe external. Maybe due to lack of resources, due to lack of time, lack of energy, lack of technical skill, lack of conceptual skill, lack of human skill. Therefore, in order to get adequate information about this, you need to read factors in achieving organizational effectiveness on page 78 to 84 of the module. Models of organizational effectiveness is another issue. Models of organizational effectiveness. In this case, there are 4 points. One is the system resources approach. Second one is the internal process approach. The third point is the goal approach focus. The fourth point is the strategic constituents approach. Sorry. The system approach or the system resource approach is the extent to which the organization requires the resource it needs, input. So this one is about the input. Input in terms of the quantity and in terms of the quality. That the organization really obtain or get this input in terms of the quality and in terms of the quantity to the right quality and right quantity is the basic question. The other point is the internal process approach. This one is conducting a smooth and efficient operation. Existence of input by itself may not bring the right quality of the product, because this input must be processed in a proper way. Sorry. Third point is the goal approach, focus. The degree to which an organization achieves its goals. Input is there, process is there. So, if the input is there, the process is there, how about the goal? The goal approach focuses on the degree to which an organization achieves its goals. Fourth point is the strategic constituents approach. The extent to which the organization satisfies the demands and the expectation of all groups. We provide input. That input is basically processed in a proper way, and goal of the organization is achieved. But this must be checked against the interests and the motive of the organizational people or people in the organization. How all groups of the individual really satisfied on the result or goal of the organization is the most important thing. Another point is about evaluating organizational change. One is, in this evaluating organizational change, monitoring is an accurate basis for evaluation. Monitoring is making a kind of assessment, day-to-day assessment, the success and the failure of that organization, how the organization is running the work. Therefore, monitoring is checking an accurate basis for evaluation. Evaluation is determining the gap between planned and achieved goals. Therefore, monitoring is a base for evaluation. What are some of the methods of evaluation? One is self-evaluation. Second one is participatory evaluation. Third one is rapid participatory appraisal. Fourth is external evaluation. Fifth one is internal evaluation. To begin with, self-evaluation. Self-evaluation is holding up a mirror to itself. That means self-evaluation, self-checking, self-assessing, knowing yourself. Second point is participatory evaluation. This evaluation is a kind of inclusive in nature. All those people who are involved in the project are expected to evaluate the success and the failure of the organization. Third point is rapid participatory appraisal. This one is evaluation by an interdependent team in a short span of time. It's not people from the outside of the organization, but people who are within the same organization, but doing in different organization. They evaluate their performance, interdepartmental performance. That means forming a kind of team within a short span of time. The other point is external evaluation. These people are external by nature who are not part of the organization. Therefore, external evaluation is simply people who are responsible to make decision on the performance of your organization. So by those people, you can see to what extent you are effective or not in your area. So the last point is internal evaluation. Interaction between an outside evaluator or evaluation team and the organization. This is both parties, people from outside organization and the people within the organization sit together and evaluate the performance of that organization. Another point is about, the 11th point is about change agents. Change agents are people who usually have specialized training in organizational behavior and can help guide and advise the change process. Change agents strive to alter human capability, organizational system, have clear vision, find new and better perspective on life. What makes change agents different from other individuals is they always strive to alter human capabilities. They capacitate people. They also revise organizational system. They have clear vision about the organization. They find new and better perspective on life. These are some of the qualities of change agents. So change agents could be the existing managers, or they could be non-managers, or employees, or outside the consultants. What are some of the roles of change agents? One is consulting, second point is training, third point is research. What does it mean by consulting? Providing technical proficiency. This technical proficiency is analyze, available for finding solutions to defined problems. Another point is training. The agent knows how comes into play in all phases of the change implementation, during the unfreezing, that means awareness creation, interpretation, that is implementation, and refreezing, that is internalizing the change. These people are responsible in order to give training. Another point is research. The change agent has to collect data, diagnosis, generate new behavioral knowledge, and evaluate or evolve best strategies for change by assessing alternatives. Dear students, again, I would like to advise you to read about competencies of change agent and characteristics of change agent on page 95 to 97, which is prepared by Guerrilla International Seminary. The other point is about culture and change. How culture and change can be support each other or oppose each other. Culture is shared attitude and perception in organization that are based on a set of fundamental norms and values and help members understand the organization. So culture is shared understanding, shared perception, shared attitude, shared philosophy, shared views, shared values, shared vision of that organization. So the degree and the pace of change depends on the society's system of knowledge, ideologies, values, laws, social norms, and day-to-day rituals or activities. So the degree and the pace is this. Therefore, I would advise you to read one point, that is dimension and types of culture, on page 99 to 109. This module is prepared by Guerrilla International Seminary. Dear students, welcome to this session again. We are learning or taking a video lecture on change management. As I have said earlier, let me just start with revising one important point. What is change agent? How change agents are more important in a given organizational development or in managing change. Change agents are people who have special training in their organization. What is this? What special training is about? This training enables them to guide their organization, and this enables them to advise their organizational members. So the change agents, peculiar features of these people is capacitating human being. Their interest is always to organizational system or capacitating organizational system, developing clear vision, finding new and better perspective on life. So this is one of the good quality of this change agent. Who will be the change agent is another question. Change agents could be the existing manager, or it could be non-manager or any employee in a given organization, or even it can be outside the consultants. Therefore, these change agents are consulting is their major activities that they give technical proficiency for their organization. They also give a kind of training when they see a gap or skill gap in a given organization. There are also their work is research-based kind of activities. The decision is research-based activity. Another point what I said earlier is about culture and change. How culture and change are related. Culture is shared attitude, it is shared perception, it is the shared philosophy of an organization. It is fundamentals of the norms and the values of the members of that organization. When we introduce some change in a given organization, some culture are very closed and some culture are very open. Some cultures say that they complain or they reject change. Some culture welcome change easily. Therefore, the nature of the culture depends on the degree and the pace of the change in a given organization. So the degree and the pace of the change depends on the systems of, on the society's system of knowledge. The degree and the pace of the change in a given organization depends on the ideology of that society, on the values of that society, laws of that society, and the social norms. These norms are unwritten rules that govern a society to do and not to do something. Norms tells us about the do's and do nots. Therefore, these things determine on the degree and pace of the organization given in introducing change. The other point is about individual change. Individuals are the basis to understand and analyze change. Change in an individual is a basis to bring change in a given organization. In order to make change, management activities and intervention successfully, it is essential to understand the experiences of individual. If we change the mind of an individual, the group of this individual, or when these individuals mind-changing individuals come together, they will form a group. This group come together, they will form the community of this organization. So the change in individual is change in individual, is change in organization. So successful organizational change results when individuals are successful at change. Why we need change in a given organization? This point is about page 104. You read. This material is prepared by the Leader International Seminary. So you can find on page 104, this is a reading assignment for you about why we need for individual change. The other point is organizational learning and learning organization. Organizational learning is the process by which an organization acquires, an organization retains, and uses input for development, resulting in an enhancing capacity for continued self-learning and self-renewal. Organizational learning is getting new input, acquiring something. That acquired thing must be retained, and that retained thing must be used in order to bring development in a given organization. What's the importance of acquiring, retaining, and using this input is in order to bring or in order to enhance capacity for continued self-learning and self-renewal. One of the constant things, as we said earlier, one of the constant things in this world is change self. Therefore, there is always change in a given organization. So our organization must be self-learning. If there is self-learning, there is self-renewal, self-updating. Second point is learning organization. Organizational learning is different from learning organization. Learning organization is one which continuously facilitates lifelong earnings and personal development of all its employees. Lifelong learning and personal development. There is learning in the road, there is learning in the school, there is learning in the home, there is learning in the church, there is learning in a given community. There is always what? Learning. So this is what we call it learning. Learning organization is always throughout its life, because there is always change in a given organization. So organization must open its mind in order to get that learning. Therefore, learning organization is one which continuously facilitates lifelong learning and personal development of all its employees, while it transforms itself by following the demands of time and marketplace. Why learning is important? In order to fit time request. Why learning is always important? In order to meet the demand of the marketplace. So, to make our service fit the marketplace, to make our product best fit time request, we have to always update our service. We have to always renew our service. Therefore, learning organization is lifelong learning, whereas organizational learning is acquiring, retaining, using inputs in order to update their organization. So, the Leader International prepared this video lecture for the managing change. Therefore, I advise you to read all the points that I told you in order to read from the hard book. Please don't hesitate to ask me any question and any kind of comments by getting my email address from the department, and my email address is just attached. I will attach you the lecture note via different kinds of media, so you can collect from the soft copy from the university. Thank you very much. God bless you.